Hi John, we're back. Now, here's the thing. We haven't been around for a while because I got married and there's a whole bunch of stuff around that, which I'm sure we'll talk about on the podcast. But I wanted to get stuck in, get back to this channel, make some videos, and I had a great idea for a video that kind of talked about the dialogue in one of my favorite TV shows I'm watching right now and how good the dialogue is. But then something happened. And to explain that, I have to teleport back to the wedding. So at the wedding, you had a lengthy conversation with my friend Jack Thomas. Now, I'm not sure if it was during this conversation or during a different conversation, but at some point, you told him he should watch My Hero Academia. You've asked me to watch this show multiple times, whether it be on the podcast or just in conversation. And I've always stayed away from it because I kind of gone off shonen animes. I watched them a lot when I was a teenager, and as an adult, I kind of don't watch them unless there's a cool twist to them. It's just not my thing. I kind of fell out of them. You watch enough, you kind of get into, okay, I know what this is about. But Jack Thomas has already watched it a little bit, I think. I think that's how he explained it to me. But you convinced him to watch it again. And he got really, really into it. So then he sat me down and he was like, you have to watch My Hero Academia. And he did this thing, which he does this quite a lot, where he's like, just watch one episode. And then you watch one episode. He just watch one more. And he watched one more. And then there's always something that he latches onto, or that I latch onto, and we always want it to be resolved. So I ended up watching 4 episodes of the show, and I know you love it a lot. So I thought I would make a video about my initial thoughts on My Hero Academia. My first thought about the show was that it is very, very funny. That's what hit me first. The show is funny in a way that a lot of anime isn't funny in. It's funny on like multiple levels. A lot of anime goes for just the shock factor or the dialogue. 2 really good ways of making people laugh. I respect them both. But this show really uses its editing and its animation especially to really make you laugh in interesting ways. I can't really explain it without just saying scenes, which is kind of boring. This show is really good at, subverting expectations in a visual way. Specifically a visual way. So they'll set something up and then you'll see something and you'll go, oh, that was a funny gag. And you didn't have to listen to any dialogue to get it across. And I didn't have to be a shock, which I really appreciate about an anime. When they do comedy in anime, they usually just go for the route of like, hey, look, this is weird, this is wacky, which is funny, but this did it in an interesting new way. Another thought that stuck out to me while I was watching it was that it is quite a predictable first 4 episodes. Now, I'm not saying that the show is predictable. Again, just reminding you, I've only watched the first 4 episodes. So anyone in the comments being like, this show is amazing and that it subverts norms, I understand. But the first 4 episodes, I was sitting there with Jack Thomas and I was guessing everything that was going to happen just before it happened. I haven't seen the show before, but I was able to do it because it's kind of by the books. That being said, I don't think the predictability is a bad thing. And I don't think predictability in anything is a bad thing if you pull it off right. As soon as Han Solo steps into onto that bridge in The Force Awakens, we know he's going to die. No one was in the cinema going, oh, he might make it out. Everyone kind of knew he was going to die, but the filmmakers knew you knew. So they kind of played on that, and they had this nice scene where you ultimately knew his fate, or you could predict his fate. Now, My Hero Academia, it's not a good or bad predictability. It's shonen. It kind of follows the tropes of shonen, at least for the first 4 episodes. And I was predicting it, but I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just this show was pointed out to me a lot, especially by Jack Thomas, not so much by you, as something that subverts expectations. And I'm excited to get to that, but I'm not yet there, I don't think. Maybe I am, and I'm able to predict the most unpredictable things ever, but in my experience, I'm not good at predicting TV shows, and I was able to predict the outcome of these 4 episodes. However, I don't think that's a criticism of the show. I'll see what it's like going forward. Something that stuck out to me about this show was the colors. Now, I'm not saying that all anime is dark. There are a lot of colorful animes. There's a lot of colorful shonen. There's a lot of dark shonen. Anime isn't specifically dark. There's kind of a wide range. But this show is incredibly colorful. So much so that I felt refreshed by it. Even though it's not like, oh no, we never get any nice colorful animes. We do, but this show is kind of in your face, very comic booky, and I like how that complemented the plot. The plot's all about superheroes, effectively, and they do that by making the color palette a very classic comic book color palette where everything is bright colors and each character almost has their own color palette. And it's very intentional, and I really respected that. I really liked that theme that they had going. And the final thing that stuck out to me was that characters in this show don't appear to be perfect. They don't appear to be, as much as I said that it was a predictable show, they don't appear to be two-dimensional. There are characters that seem good but make mistakes. There are characters that seem bad but do good things. And that is something that is really annoys me about Shonen a lot, that there are these characters that are very much characters, like they're stereotypes, and they don't leave their stereotypes as much. And it almost feels like in some shonen anime, when those 2D characters eventually do something that is unexpected, we're supposed to treat that as its character development. But characters don't have to develop so slowly. They can make little mistakes in the first, second, third episode of an anime and learn from those mistakes and keep developing. And this anime does that really well. A character I really like and I want to point out is his mother. His mother is a really nice character, a really sweet, nice character, but they point out something she does which might not be the best thing to do. But she doesn't make a huge mistake. She isn't mean. She doesn't say something that he needed to hear. She doesn't get blamed for that. It's not her fault. She just didn't know. But I like that the characters are deep in this, and they seem to be making little mistakes that aren't necessarily character changes or flaws, but they just make them feel more rounded, well thought out characters. My camera is about to die, but that's kind of the thoughts I had on the show. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. I'm excited to watch more, and I'll get you a more concise review, and maybe we'll discuss it on the podcast when I've seen a lot more episodes.